Alright, well, this is my first time ever doing this, and I have no idea what's going on right now, so I don't think anyone's in here, but if you are, please bear with me. What the hell am I supposed to do here? I'm trying to set up my monitors right now, and because I'm on my laptop, makes it a little bit harder with what I'm trying to do here, but no worries. Let's see, does this work? Maybe? Yes? No? Okay. I think the answer is maybe it does work. Oh, hello. Thank you for the wave. I see you here. I am, excuse me. I'm trying to set up a live stream right now for live trading, but I've never actually done this live before. So this might be kind of a mess, and I apologize. It might be very hard to follow for like the first 5, 10 minutes as I figure out what the hell I'm doing. So just bear with me for 1 sec. And let's see. Let me force quit something. Something is not responding. Okay, I think this should be good. Now let me go ahead and try to share my screen. Now it says screen one or screen two, and I want to share just one of the screens, but I don't know which one is which. Oh, okay, nice. If anyone is still here, can you hear me slash see my screen? I will assume yes, because, there's only two of you in here. If that, I don't even know if I count as a viewer myself, but yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, is it like really choppy or laggy or anything like that? Like when I'm looking at my preview right now, kind of seems like my mouse is maybe laggy, but I don't know for sure. I don't know if that's going to be annoying to watch this kind of lagginess. So let's just see. Assuming it's okay, then I will post a live link in the one option chat room and or the community that I'm a part of that I trade with so that I can let them know. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this is not very low resolution. That's exciting. Can I do anything about that? I feel like I should be able to. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and switch to my desktop because I have an Ethernet connection on that, and I think that's gonna look. Oh, it's okay now? Okay, never mind. Man, you're putting me back and forth. It's good, it's not good, it's good, it's not good. I'm kidding, I'm messing with you. But if it's good now, then, maybe I won't jump to my desktop, but I always do have that as a backup in case I need to. In fact, let me just turn on my desktop right now, just in case that is what I need to do because it might work better. So I'm turning that on. By the way, I know this video or this live stream is called live trading, but unless you are unaware, this market is very, very unexciting right now. We had the CPI, or excuse me, not the CPI. We had the FOMC on Wednesday, and we had a very solid breakout to a new all-time high. And yesterday, we gapped up And the hope was that, okay, let's see if we get follow through today. The gap up was decent size. So, of course, we know, and maybe if you don't know, but whenever you get a big gap up like this to a new relative high, it's always relatively dangerous to assume that, oh, we're just going to start grinding higher and this is going to be a gap and go, meaning you can just jump into the trade because you don't know that for sure, right? You always got to confirm the move. And on top of that, the chance for profit taking is larger, right? We get a nice gap up to a new high. People are going to be like, okay, I have some nice gains. Let's lock it in. And you also have to be aware of the fact that sellers are going to test the bid. They want to see, was this gap up actually meaningful? Meaning, if we try to push the bid, are buyers going to come in and support that? So, what I like to do in these gap up days is to wait longer than I normally do, unless the price action is very clear that we're just going to go, 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 but generally doesn't do that. But what I like to see is some kind of compression where we're not really going lower. Ideally, we're making higher lows, kind of like we were here. But then eventually you want to see that breakout through the high. And that's not what happened yesterday. And yesterday I made a mistake where I was kind of under the assumption that this is going to be a nice bullish day. Because again, we were compressing up here. We had this bearish 1OP cycle that was not producing any selling. We were just kind of sitting up here like the higher lows. And I assumed, not confirmed, but I assumed that this breakout here would happen. And that didn't happen, right? Instead, we got this gradual drip lower and lower and lower. And this is not aggressive selling, but it's persistent in that it's not stopping right now. So it's making it really hard to get long or anything because you don't want to go long against this. This is just like a slow drip, drip, drip down lower that we are going to need to break out of if we actually want to consider going long, right? I like that the market, right? We have this low here, we popped up, we came back, we tested it again, and then we've actually had a decent little climb here on good volume. Notice though that the candle bodies aren't anything aggressive, right? We're stacking some greens, but they do have a little bit of retracement. We're still not above the prior day's low, right? So we need to get above that. That's what this dotted line right here is. So I want to see that happen. And I just want to see this follow through continue. Ideally, we put in another higher low. Maybe we break out above the prior day's low and we test it. And then we go back up. Okay. Then I feel more comfortable going long. Okay, I'm gonna stop this live stream real quick to try it out on my PC, my desktop, unless any of the two people in here veto to that and believe this is good enough to keep going with my laptop. I have no idea what this sounds like and or looks like, so I don't know if the resolution is shitty or what. It looks okay on my end, but you know, I have no freaking idea because from my source or my computer itself, it looks good, but who knows? Okay, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go, um, what's it called? I'm not gonna switch to my desktop. Okay, everything's great. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now and then just post this live stream into the chat. So we can try to get a few more people in here. Okay, I need to figure out how to actually like share this link. Like I said earlier, if you were in here when I started, I have never done this before. So I have virtually zero clue what I'm doing, other than I am apparently live because, well, you're talking to me in the chat. So let's uh let's go ahead and just share this. I am live streaming on YouTube. Trading on my YouTube channel, or if anyone interested, feel free to. This is my first time live streaming, so I apologize if things are not very well prepped. All right, I have opened the floodgates, so to speak. Let's see if we can get more than 10 people in here. Meanwhile, while I wait, I'm gonna go ahead and just drop this downward sloping trend line that I had. You're wondering what the hell this is? Well, this is the downward sloping trading channel that we've been in since pretty much the middle of yesterday. And so in order for me to consider going long, I want to see us break out of this. Not only just break out, but I want to see us break out of it with some oomph, like a buyers are interested kind of breakout. And what would that look like? Well, I want to see the volume pick up, which we actually have been seeing here, which is great. We have seen some consistent green candles, which that's nice too, right? There is some retracement, right? You can see that in the tails below the body, and these aren't huge stacked green candles, so that's fine. But I want to see this get follow through. I want us to break out of this persistent, torturous bleed lower that we've kind of been in since yesterday. Because if we want to get any momentum and break out of this, then we kind of need to do that sooner than later. Now, the good thing is that for those of you who use Option Stalker Pro, you should be aware that, well, we just had a bearish 10p cycle. Technically, we're still in it, so don't assume that it's done. But so far, this cycle has not produced much. And that's interesting because if you look at the bullish cycle before that, you can see that we didn't really get anything going on the buy side, right? Instead, we kind of just drifted lower. And so the expectation was like, oh shit, well, maybe this cycle for the bearish cycle might produce, right? And sure, we saw some selling, but you can see here we had another low, right? So we've got a double bottom here. Okay, that's cool, right? You can see a little bit of a bullish hammer. Again, nothing to get excited about to go long, but that's nice. Maybe we have some support there. And again, now we're seeing some buying here as this bearish cycle tries to complete itself. So I'm watching that right now. And I am just waiting to see what happens at this point. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just bring this into view here. Well, this is really zoomed in. I apologize for that. Okay, you guys can see. Hopefully this is not looking really warped or anything, but oh well. Okay, here's Pete. This is the leader of One Option. He says, we have support, another benign cycle and a double bottom. Found support above the close from Wednesday, and that's also nice. Market's not doing much either way, but I would not worry about the market. Okay. I'll go ahead and just dry this off. So yeah, like I said, I'm kind of just watching here. And even though it looks like perhaps we are breaking out of this downward sloping channel in the 5-minute chart, that is not enough for me to get long. I need to see more aggression on the side of buyers, and I want to see follow through on this breakout. Because although this selling pressure is not super strong, meaning that, stacked red candles on super heavy volume, this is a long, persistent selling period, I guess you can call it. So have to respect that just because of how long it's been going for. So if you are wondering, what am I supposed to do here? Well, my suggestion is, as always, flip charts, set alerts and be patient and just wait to see what the market does here. And that's kind of always my go-to is if you're not feeling comfortable or confident whatsoever with like the market, or you don't really have much of a thesis because you just don't really know, that's a good sign to just hold off on any kind of trades. Wait for some more clarity, right? Like, for example, here's a trade I like. Sorry, I have like 7,000 alerts going off here, which I realize is probably very distracting, and I apologize. But here's a stock I like, ANET. And you can see 2 days ago, it broke out to new all-time high. Yesterday, it finished on its high when the market was doing what? When the market was drifting lower like this. This stock did not give a shit. Well, it kind of did. You can see it right here, right? It was drifting lower, but it found support at VWAP and it was able to finish pretty much right at the high of the day. And I'll put the SPY overlay up so you can see that, right? This gray line here, market going down and kind of sitting. And then as soon as the market finds support to some degree, this stock lifts off. So that's great. And you can see that today when the market is still kind of selling off, this thing is starting to break out above the prior day's high. And you can see a little volume coming in. So I really like this stock. I was actually long this from the other day, but I closed it yesterday for a profit. So would I go long it right now? Again, no. Why not? Because I have to wait for this downward sloping channel to resolve itself. Just because we're getting some volume here and a little bit of some consistent green candles, and just because we have a double bottom, right? This is still not enough for me to be like, yep, it's time to go long. And maybe to some degree you could argue it's safe or whatever, right? You do have the longer term trend obviously working in your favor, but I would just try not to find an excuse to make a trade. Because if you're trying to find excuses to make a trade or justify it, it's probably not a good idea to take that trade. So, in other words, take the highest probability trades. And what are the highest probability trades? Well, market first. So ask yourself, do we have the market on our side right now? No. This is not enough to get us to go long yet. Wait for this to play out a little bit more. See once this 1OP cycle starts the bullish side, if things get going. So I don't want us to fall back into this downward sloping channel here because, well, to be honest, that's very possible, right? I'm sure there are a lot of people who are buying this breakout right now thinking, yep, this is it. We are going higher. The low is in. Time to buy. And if this turns out to be a long red candle back in, they are going to be like, fuck, why did I do that? So better to just wait because although you might miss an initial move or whatever, your chances of success go up dramatically when you have confirmation that the market is on your side and it's going higher. So when I say I want to trade the highest probability trades, I don't have that setting right now. So I just kind of wait and I wait to see what's going to happen here. Okay. Hello, Alex. I hope you are doing well. I hope all of you are doing well. If you're coming in here expecting some high octane energy / trading, I'm sorry, but it's probably not going to happen because this market is doing jack shit, as I've been talking about. As in, on the long side, there's really not much to latch onto, and I'm not going to try and bother shorting this because the selling isn't really persistent, and it's not, or it's persistent. It's just not super aggressive, like relentless long red candles on super heavy volume, right? All this stuff has been mixed overlapping candles, very low volume, right? This is basically just buyers are not interested yet. I shouldn't say yet, perhaps they're just not interested, but clearly at these levels, they have not been interested. Otherwise, you wouldn't see this steady drift lower, right? So I've got a lot of alerts here. Let's go ahead and click through these. So you already know I like ANET. I like it a lot. I think I have an alert on it. Actually, you know what? Maybe I didn't. So what am I going to do? I do what I do best, which is set an alert. So I want to know when I get a Heikin Ashi reversal on the 5-minute chart for ANET to the bullish side, tell me. And that's all I got to do. Let's go to Shake Shack. think I had a Heikin Ashi reversal on this set earlier. Don't really like anything here. Well, actually, no, I do like the stock today. It's held up very well. I want to take it above the prior day's high. And this stock is also at an all-time high, which is really nice. And this one's interesting because if you look, yesterday, this thing had a big gap down. And all I could find for possible news was a new CEO for the chart, or excuse me, for the stock, or sorry, for Shake Shack. And it's interesting to see because yesterday when the market wasn't doing anything and it was just selling, this thing was just gradually filling in the gap all day long on heavy volume. So that told me that buyers were interested in this thing. And so that's why I wanted to watch it today. And you can see they're still interested, right? Stock is up and it's starting to move higher as the market is. So I really like this one. And I'm going to go ahead and set not a price alert, but a Heikin Ashi reversal alert. Tell me when that happens. Okay, DKNG. Here's another one. That was really nice yesterday, had a nice gradual grind up. This one is also at a new relative high. I want to see this try to get back up above this high here. You can see I have an alert set for it, so I will wait. Trip. This one's looking nice too. Climbed up earlier, came back. You can see, you scroll out, it's a choppy stock, and we don't have the market. So if you're looking at this right now, like, holy shit, I got to go long, I can pretty much guarantee you, you're probably going to be able to get a better price for this, which means set an alert. And before we do that, of course, we need to look at the daily chart. Hey, that's pretty nice, right? Breaking out to a new high. That is what you like to see. So what do I do? Well, you already know, set that alert, and I move on. Okay, here's one that was called out in the chat by Kira. I should say the one option chat room, not the live stream YouTube channel chat. This is a really nice stock. And if you look at the longer term trend for it, that's pretty nice, right? Down from these lows here, stock had some time to make some sort of base, and it's been in a nice grind higher. And you can see it's above all the major moving averages, it's above AVWAP, and today it is very strong and it has decent volume, which you can see down here. So I really like this one. I'm going to reset the alert on it because I'm still not ready to go long. And by no means am I trying to buy the high of the day on a stock right now. So I'm okay with that. ATMU, here's another great one. If I go to the daily chart, you can see, what do you know? Another relative high. I think this is also an all-time high too. Yes, okay, this is a newer stock. Let me go ahead and zoom out really quickly. I apologize for that. Gizmo, I'll get to you in just 1 second. Yeah, I really like this. This is a nice breakout here. Yesterday, it was bought up by buyers, even when the market was drifting lower, right? You can see it had this run up and it actually kind of closed near the high. And today it's getting a little bit of similar follow through. So I really like this one. I know someone in the chat room went longer on this earlier. So I would definitely consider this for a long. This would be an excellent long if and when the market shows us it's time to go. NVIDIA, everyone loves NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA too. Daily chart actually looks kind of decent, right? Even though it's been a kind of just dormant sitting here for a while, it's getting a breakout today to the upside. This is a damn strong stock and has been, and of course is. Just look at this. I really like this. I already have an alert set on it. You can see down here, and it was triggered. But again, I have a lot of alerts, and you might be like, how the hell does this dude trade with all these pop-ups coming up? And honestly, that's a great question. I just reset the alerts because I am trying to trade the market with the best stock. And what does that mean? Well, basically just means I'm looking to go long, right? But for me to go long, I want to be able to convincingly be able to look at the market and say, yes, I would go long SPY or the market right here. Would you go long right here? Maybe. I wouldn't, just because I don't know for sure yet, right? I need to see this breakout above the prior day's low hold, and I want to see the volume continue to pick up. and for us to start marching higher. Then I would feel comfortable, but I still don't feel comfortable yet. So there's really no need to jump the gun. And so if you feel some kind of sense of FOMO and you're just like, man, I really want to go long ANET. Look at this. Sellers tried to test the prior day's high. Buyers immediately came in. We got a bullish engulf. I really want to go long right now. Like you could just recognize that all it takes is for the market to fall back into this downward sloping trading channel and then to just start the slow drip, 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 drip lower. And guess what? That's probably going to bring this down with it too. Maybe not because the stock does have good relative strength. But again, your chance of success is just not super high at this point. So just chill out and wait. Okay, Gizmo, how long has it been since you discovered this system? I joined the One Option chat room recently, just lurking and learning for now. Your discipline and passion for trading is inspiring, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate the kind words. Um, how long has it been since I discovered this system? I discovered this system back in August of 2022, and that was also when I started trading as well. And I pretty much joined this One Option community right away. I found the real day trading subreddit and I read the wiki and I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but this sounds really interesting. And then I joined the chat room and I got hooked. So I've been doing this now for 19 months, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, I have been in it since then. And, to be honest with you, I had no idea. I would have never thought that I would start trading or anything like that because I just didn't know anything about it. And I probably rightfully assumed that, there are a lot of scams and trading and blah, 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 because just look anything up on YouTube and how to trade, and you're just going to see a bunch of gurus and dumbasses who are trying to sell you on something. So, anyways, long story short, yeah, I've been here for a while and I really like it. And I'm constantly looking to just improve my trading in whatever capacity I can because I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. Of course, the financial independence side of it, the potential to make decent living with it is also very nice too. But for me, it's just a lot of fun. And it is the ultimate test of patience and discipline, as you kind of mentioned. Because if you're just going out there throwing out money on shit like, okay, it's time to go long Nvidia because AI, and this is going to go up, and you're trading like Wall Street bets, you're gambling. That's not actually trading, or I should say, sustainable trading. So, yeah, One Option, um, the chat room, the community, all of Pete's lessons, Harry's articles in the Real Day Trading Wiki, excellent, excellent material. So, highly recommend checking that out if you haven't. Alex, why aren't you in the RDT Discord? That's a great question. The reason for that, to be honest, is I don't really have a reason. I just never joined it because when I started, I pretty much just joined One Option immediately. So I kind of felt that there was no need for it. Um, it would be cool to kind of be a part of though, in that, it'd be nice to see like the real day trading live chat community in the Discord. But I just personally haven't gone into it, and I don't use Discord a whole lot either. So there's also that too. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the chat over here. Whoops, that is not what I was trying to do. Okay, let's see. Let's catch up. Okay, keep going. Keep in mind, winning on going long on Lulu reinforces bad habits. Yes, that is absolutely true, Ali. Okay, Otto, I like this setup on Spotify. Spotify is an excellent chart. Go ahead and check that out. Dan sent an alert on Domino's Pizza. Whenever I think of Domino's Pizza or DPZ, I think of Harry, who made a trade on DPZ, I think around when I joined. And I remember listening to his live trading on Twitter. And every time for like a few weeks, he'd just be like, Domino's can go fuck itself. I don't think that trade ended up working out for him. So it's hard to not laugh when I see DPZ. Okay, speaking of Harry, nice recovery over VWAP for SPY here. Not that I would recommend going crazy with longs. Yes, that is what I was saying too. We have to wait a little bit more to test that buyers actually are interested in here. But I certainly would hold off on shorts. Absolutely. 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 Alex, you would like it in the RDT Discord. Isidore, Izzy, etc. there as well. I will take your word for it, Alex. I will try to check it out. Um, it would be cool to come in and perhaps post my trades there as well, so that others outside of one option can see what I am trading. Because my activity in the real day trading sub has been pretty non-existent. Like I've made some posts and all, but I don't really like comment a whole lot or anything. So it would be cool and really nice to be a little bit more involved with that. Okay, so hopefully you guys aren't bored. But to be honest, even if you weren't listening to this, like what else are you gonna do? Like, are you just gonna stare at this like me? Okay, you could do that. Um, but again, if you want to improve your win rate or number of trades that you can win and the amount of money you make on your trades, you don't need to make many trades at all. In fact, you could just make one trade a day, and if you're picking the best setup, that's all you need. Like seriously, 10 mediocre-ish trades where you make a little bit of money on all of them can easily be outgained by just one very nice trade in which you are very confident in. You can allocate more money to it because when you have the market tailwind, the stock is great, and you've got everything going. Hell yeah, you're going to be confident. So why not just trade the best of the best? And the answer to that is, well, I should, right? I should just trade the best of the best, right? The best of the best, meaning, of course, the best stocks, but also the best of the best market conditions. And just strive to do that. I promise you that. Although some days you will miss some trades and you'll see people posting in the one option chat room or the Discord posting their trades. You're seeing Dave post trades, Harry posts his wild trades, and you're like, I just want to go long or short or whatever. If you don't have the setup you're looking for and the market conditions, then just don't do anything. Sure, maybe you're not going to make any money that day, but you're already doing better than pretty much 80% of anyone else, right? Because remember that the majority of traders don't make money, they lose money. So if you literally just sit on your hands all day long, you are technically making more money than those guys because they're making negative money and you're making zero money. That's just kind of a way I like to um, wrap my head around things when I'm like, is it okay to not be taking a trade? And of course, sometimes no trade is the best trade. Okay, a couple more things going on here. Gizmo articles and option wikis unlike anything I've ever seen. Well organized and genuinely helpful stuff just takes a long time to digest all that info. Absolutely. I will talk more on that in a second. Bimster, or should I say what it's used for? Saw. Why do you not trade options? A lot is personal preference. Just curious why you don't trade them. Um, I really like that question, Saw. That is a really good question because others have asked me about that. And my answer is that, to be honest, I am not well educated on options enough for me to go out and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to open a call debit spread right now, or I'm just going to go straight calls or puts on this. And it's not that I can't learn it. It's just that my focus has pretty much been since I joined to focus on the market and then the stock second. Pete Stolzers, the founder of One Option, he says that 65% of trading is get the market right. The rest of it, 30% is the stock is next, right? So if you get the market and the stock right, you're pretty much guaranteed to make money. The rest of the 5% he calls options, which are the icing on the cake. And if you want to trade options, that's great. For me, I've just been really focused on just trying to get my foundations as solid as I can because once I feel really, really comfortable, then I can venture out into picking up trading options and doing all that stuff. And honestly, I should look more into doing that sooner than later. But again, right now I'm just really focused on making sure I've got discipline, patience that is sustainable. Because one thing I did recently, as in a few 4 months ago, is I started trading a live account. And I'm by no means trading a huge amount or anything, but going from paper to one share to actual money is kind of a big deal. And that, well, you're using real money. So you have to ask yourself and prove, can you stay disciplined and patient? And so that's kind of what I'm testing right now for the next couple of months. And so far, I've been doing well. I have made a couple of silly mistakes, which, that's okay. I'm still relatively new, but nothing that's like really dangerous or bad or anything like that. Um, Meaning I'm not like blowing up my account or revenge trading or anything like that. Like I feel like I am in control. Most of my mistakes right now are pretty much just me getting a little bit ahead of myself or preemptive, thinking like, oh, like now is a good time to go long or short. Basically, just kind of cutting away from my discipline a bit. Um, Meaning I'm not embracing patience as much as I should be. So, in other words, I'm not doing anything bad per se. I just need to keep proving to myself that I have the control that, I'm bringing pretty much on a daily basis and that, I can keep adapting to changing market conditions. So, long story short, I don't trade options yet because I just don't feel the need to. And at some point, I will pick it up. Right now, I'm just focused on market first, stock second, and I can do what I need to do by just trading shares. Okay, Luke, do you have a job you work before or after market hours? Do you work remotely? Uh, yes, I do work remotely, so I am blessed to have that privilege to do so. And I pretty much work after market hours. So sometimes that means I am kind of working later into the night. But I'm trying to make trading work. So I do what I have to do in order to get the screen time that I want and need in order to be able to trade. So yes, I do have a full-time job. Um, I work as a software developer. If you give a shit, I won't say anything more than that. But yes, and if you are also working full time too, and you are also trying to trade, I totally empathize with you. It is fucking difficult to try to learn all this stuff on top of like, hey, like you have a job, dude, like do your stuff. So yeah, it's not always easy. So you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Audi, there are some discussions about gamma levels in the chat. Do you use gamma levels for stocks or the index? No, I do not. I do not touch that stuff whatsoever. If you're referring to MedHat, um, he knows about that stuff. I do not. If you're going to ask me questions about the Greeks or anything like that, I'm a dumbass. Like I don't know much about that stuff, like I said, and I'm okay with that. So I don't need that to again do what I need to do. So I'm not too concerned about that. But if you're interested in it, I would ask MedHat in the one option chat room after market hours. Hello, I'm listening in while at work. Hey, nice to see you, Dave. Dave? Dov? I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly. I've always wondered. I'm going to call you Dave9 unless it is pronounced otherwise. Gizmo, did you start trading, placing trades in the first few months when you didn't grasp any of the concepts, feel confident enough in your analysis? Did you look at trades posted? I pretty much just jumped in after like 3 weeks of reading the wiki and started trading, and it didn't go very well. I mean, obviously, I had zero experience, but I think it's a good idea to just start trading as soon as you have some sort of idea of what you're doing. And of course, do not trade real money until you are able to hit those consistent milestones laid out on the wiki. And I'm serious because your um, mind's going to tell you, hey, look, I just won a couple of trades. I can use real money. Think about all this money I can make right now. Fuck, I can do so many nice things. I have this money. It's not going to work. I will tell you that right now. I tried it, just like probably 85% of, no, fuck it. I'm going to say 90% of anyone who has tried to join real day trading and to start this is, I can just try it with a little bit of money. It just doesn't work. And the main reason for that, mindset aside, is you just need screen time to get all of this stuff down. 2 years, maybe three. So don't jump the gun. Just realize it's a slow process. It is not a get rich quick kind of thing. Um, Respect the time that it takes to get all this stuff down, because it takes time, much more than your brain tells you it will, and perhaps what your brain wants you to do. Okay, let's keep going. Luke, that's some crazy dedication to stay late for your main job. Huge respect. Thank you, Luke. I try my best. I do try my best. Malik, on CRBG, would you set an H1 LRSI greater than 0.2 alert thanks to your videos? I am slowly starting to get hang of setting alerts. Hey, that's awesome to hear. Let's take a look at CRBG. By the way, if you guys have any questions, whether it is stock related, trading related, I don't know, what am I doing this weekend or whatever, I will try to answer the best of my ability. Especially if you have questions you want to ask that you are too afraid to ask in the one option chat room because you're afraid that Harry's going to be like, shut up, you dumbass. What kind of question is this? Read the wiki. I will be nicer, I promise. But please read the wiki if you haven't, and refrain from questions that are, you know, just show me you're putting in some work. That's all I want to know. Okay, sorry, I was getting distracted. CPRT. I really like this chart. You can see longer term. This is an excellent longer term trend. You can see stock goes up, it pulls back, it 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 goes up. What do you think this is going to do next? Well, if you just look at what it's done historically, it's maybe likely going to pull back a little bit at some point. It certainly could be a decent long, going long now, given that the market is breaking out to a new all-time high. But again, you want that follow through. Setting a 1 hour LRSI alert on the H1 chart, take a look at what it's done previously. You start getting a dip, okay, you get these kind of crosses back and forth. Just because LRSI crosses once above the 0.20 line does not mean you go long. You need technical confirmation. And what would that look like? Well, you set an alert, downward sloping trend line like this. And once that's broken, and obviously it's already been broken, but once you have that, and you have LRSI cross, and you have the market, there you go. That's go, go, go time. So if you set this right here, right, against this line here, connected it down there, and then you set this here, and you get this LRSI cross here, and the market's looking good, there's your entry point. And again, I think that's a solid alert idea, because you can see just based on how this stock moves, right? It's not super, super tight. It does go up and it pulls back. It goes up and it pulls back a little bit. So I think that's a great idea to do, to set that alert. Now, if the market starts to break out and we get some aggressive follow through, then obviously the stock is strong today. So it could work as just a decent trade to take, but being cautious with it, and that LRSI alert could work, especially if the market were to actually dip down from here, right? At some point, buyers would come in and you would have an excellent entry point on CBRG or CRBG, whatever it is, CRBG. Okay. So yes, I endorse your H1 LRSI alert. In fact, I'm going to also set that as well right now so that I am aware when that happens. Okay, let's keep looking. By the way, if you're wondering, hey man, can you please make a trade? My answer to you is I still don't feel good enough. Although I'm liking what I'm seeing better here, right? We're compressing at the low in the market. We're trying to break out a little bit. I want to see the volume pick up more. We've got a 1OP bullish cross going. Okay, that's looking better. I like that. Still not enough for me to just jump in, but it's looking much better than, say, if you went long here because you're like, oh, hey, we're above VWAP. Time to go long because we're above VWAP. Well, like Harry said here, nice recovery over VWAP for SPY here. And not that I would recommend going crazy with longs. He is 100% right. At this point here, if you went long, you did not have the extra bit of clarity and confidence that you do now, which, mind you, might still not be a whole lot, but hey, it's better here than it was there. So, in other words, stay patient. Wait for that good opportunity to set up in the market. Okay, let's keep going. Vimster, I remember when you said that trading has started to feel like a video game for you in the 1 chat. I am slowly starting to feel like that also. Almost sort of like a mission. Absolutely. It is 10,000% like a video game. And if you can see it like that and not be so caught up in your P&L, and even more important, understand that like a video game, you're going to lose sometimes. That's just a part of playing a game, right? You're not going to win and never die. That would be insane. You would maybe be a pro video game player, um, or whatever. Maybe you're superhuman. I don't know. But just recognize that losing and making mistakes is part of the process, and that is how you improve. So try to foster a mindset that is happy when you make a mistake because it is giving you something that you can take to study and improve upon so that you don't make those mistakes again. So as painful as mistakes can be, especially if it's like, why did I do that? Like, it was so stupid. Try to take that energy and direct it the other way of like, okay, that wasn't a great choice to make, but I can learn something from this so that I don't make that mistake again. And now I'll be a better player. That's how I view it. And just what are your thoughts on Dell? Dell. I think Dell still needs time to kind of digest these gains a bit. Obviously, it had a huge ass pop after earnings. They were talking about AI stuff, of course, but you can see since then it's just kind of been gradually drifting lower. There's just been profit taking, has found a little bit of support here, and it has been going up. Today it's down, which, okay, the market is not anything to get too excited about, but you can see that the stock is above the 8 EMA. It's technically below AVWAP-E. If I were you and just for me and I was interested in taking this, I would want it to see it to start poking above AVWAP-E here, just so that I have confirmation that buyers are actually interested in this thing right now. So I would wait for that. So I think it could work out really well. I just personally wouldn't get long here. I would need a little bit more time. Anton, what is your take on a stock trading prop firm like Trade the Pool? I don't know much about prop firms, to be honest, other than they're not viewed very well in the real day trading sub, especially from Harry and Pete and others. Um, and I'm just not educated enough to give you a strong comment on that. So I would just read what has been discussed about it in the wiki. And of course, do some research outside of that as well to try to draw the conclusion for yourself. But I would just recommend reading at the very least what is posted in the wiki about it. Gizmo, unfortunately, my job collides with market hours. It's truly quite exhausting with a full-time job. Then 6 to 8 hours after work every day. So I'm considering quitting my job and dedicate all available time to trading and learning the system. Then again, the day I want to start trading with money, the saved up money might be essential as it's easier to make money the bigger your account. That is true. Look, Gizmo, I understand. It's really hard when you have like a full-time job outside of trading, which is already itself a full-time job, even if you're just paper trading, because this shit takes a long time to get down. Um, so I totally understand that situation. You got to do what you got to do. And if you have the means to be able to dedicate full time to studying this and you feel comfortable doing that, then by all means, consider doing that if that's what you want to do. Um, like we all know, this stuff is hard and it takes a lot of time. It's possible to do while you have a full time job and other responsibilities, but that just means you're going to need more time to kind of digest and internalize and master everything. And that's okay if you're willing to respect that extra time you need. So just keep that in mind. Bimster, it helps me take the emotions out of play for alerts. Yes, I agree. It is an excellent way to trade, just period. Because most of the time, the market is not in a bullish trend day, meaning, well, you don't have like an aggressive move higher where it's just like buying all day long. Like for me, that's pretty much the only kind of day where I'm going to just buy something right away without waiting for an alert to trigger. Because on those days, I know that buyers are aggressive as hell and they want to buy everything. That's not most days though. So if you go into each day with the assumption that, and like this doesn't have to be a part of your game plan or anything, just realize that most of the time the market is not going to put in stacked green candles buying all day long, bullish trend day. That might help temper your FOMO a bit. I was trying to scroll back on the 30-minute chart to find the last like really nice bullish trend day. There was one on March 1st that was an excellent day, and I'll scroll back just a little bit, and then we'll go back to the live day. This was an amazing bullish trend day. This is the day I took 17 trades, which, in hindsight was probably stupid because I should have just focused on a subset of those of the strongest stocks and just gone in more of them aggressively. But this was the kind of day where I was like, I don't need alerts. I'm going to buy right now because I feel damn confident in this market. When you have 11 out of 10 confidence in the market, for me, that is like the one time I do not need alerts to like make me feel like I'm getting a good entry point. And if you're asking, well, is today an 11 out of 10 market confidence? Absolutely not. You should already know why. um, yeah, so my confidence right now is picking up a little bit more. I still just want to see a little bit more follow through in the market to the upside. So if we can keep grinding a little bit higher from here, that would be nice. If a bearish cycle comes, which, it's possible in 20, 30 some minutes, and it doesn't produce and we're just still floating higher or not drifting lower, okay, then I can feel a lot more confident that this breakout here is going to hold. I still don't have that yet though. So I'm sorry if you guys are like, come on, please trade something. That's just not what I'm trying to do right now. So just waiting. And if you're struggling and you're a beginner, I highly recommend trying that out sometime. Just don't jump into things. Wait for the right opportunity to get long. It will help you out quite a bit, I promise. Okay, I really like NVIDIA. Just got an alert on it. Still not going to do anything here, but I'm watching it, as I'm sure many other people are. Um, let's see, here's ETN. This one I had pointed out earlier in the chat room. I really like this. This one is an industrial, and industrials have been damn strong. And this one is also at an all-time high. Buying stocks at an all-time high, excellent idea because you have no bag holders, there's no resistance, there's tons of buying going into the stock, especially when you have a nice tight trend like this. Hell yeah, I would love to trade this. In fact, I almost took this trade the other day when it closed above here. I just didn't. And yesterday it went up when the market was just torturously dripping lower all day. So clearly people are interested in this thing. And now you can see it's trying to break out above the prior day's high. What I like to do on these breakouts above the prior day's high and review up, first of all, I set an alert like always, but especially when I don't have a powerful market tailwind, I'm not just going to buy it right here. I'm going to wait for it to ideally get some kind of dip that tests the breakout and then bounces off and goes, then I can feel a lot more comfortable. Um, and that's particularly if I'm just looking to day trade something where I really need to make sure I have like a good entry point that I can feel confident in. Because this stock has just been really strong and it has a powerful daily chart, like I would just feel comfortable going long this regardless. As in, I'm not going to go long right now, but I wouldn't be so like, I want to confirm this first if the market started going off, just because with such a strong trend like this and this breakout here, you could use this breakout point as a stop if you wanted to, but I would feel pretty comfortable knowing that buyers have been here for a while, that this thing is probably going to keep going higher. So I like this one. See what it does. And that's why I've set an alert on it. Dave, how would you describe your progression? Did you gradually improve, or were there walls, plateaus you hit for a while that took more time? effort to overcome. I'm on my third month of one share, but I am feeling like there's always more and more to learn or tweak. Yes. Uh, I'll just say right away, I agree with you. There is always something more to learn because there truthfully is always something more to learn. Um, just as a quick example, Pete introduced AVWAP into studies last year, I think. And that was something he was studying for a long time and only brought in recently. And he's been trading for 30 some years. So there's always going to be more to learn. Now, as far as like from our standpoint, more of like the newer trader side, yes, I would say my progression can look something like this LRSI chart where here's me starting, hey, I know everything. And then actually, no, that's just the Dunning-Kruger effect, you idiot. And then I just gradually have started continuing to improve over time. And honestly, a lot of it is just like really learning to respect the time that is needed to get everything down in this trading journey. The whole 2 years thing. But yeah, like there's going to be like constant kind of plateaus you feel like you'll hit and it'll feel frustrating and all that. But when I feel kind of down and frustrated because I'm like, I feel like I'm just like not doing much here, or I'm like kind of not on a great streak, I just know that that's part of the process. And I can't freak out too much about it just because I know that overall, when I look back over a year, like my progress has definitely been going up and up and up. And so I feel comfortable, so to speak, and the longer term trend of my progress. It's kind of like the daily chart on a stock, right? You know how we need a long or a solid daily chart before we consider going long on a stock? Think of your progress like that, right? You have nice longer term growth here, right? Look at this chart on ELF. You can think of this as it's losing some progress or whatever in its trading journey. If this makes any kind of fucking sense. But see how it's just like drifting lower and then it bounces back up into the direction of the longer term trend? That's how I kind of describe my progress on just like I improve, right? Here's my trend of me improving. I make some silly mistakes. No worries. Perhaps it hurt a little bit more, but I'm in control. Like I know what I'm doing. I've seen this happen before. And then I just know, just get back onto doing what works. Learn from the mistake, of course, but just keep going because it's worth it. Okay. Hopefully that helped, but just keep going at it, Dave. Like it takes time. And I will say, I've seen a lot of your trades in the chat room. And I feel like 99% of your trades always come out to be winners. So you're making some good trades. I know you've had a couple that um, you didn't like. I think it was General Mills, which I don't want to make you think about that on a Friday or whatever. I don't know if that was it or whatever, but I think you were like, damn, I got called out by Pete during his live session. But look, again, that's just one trade. Like that doesn't indicate that you don't know what you're doing or whatever. Look at the daily chart for your progress, not the 5-minute chart. Okay, by the way, I know I'm talking a lot, but I really like ELF. ELF. Speaking of the D1 matters more than the 5-minute chart. You can see yesterday, very solid buying all day long, virtually no dip with the market. And then it started selling off a little bit end of day. Okay, you got some profit taking. And then today it sold off a little bit. Oh no, look at this scary selling volume. This is not aggressive selling. And I know that because you've got some mixed candles. They have long tails, long wicks. You go down, you go up. You go down, bullish engulfing candle, and then you go up. And look at this really nice, tight grind higher. This is the kind of stuff you want to day trade if you're going to day trade something. This tight price action is way better than just choppy shit that, hey, look, you have a choppy stock and it's testing VWAP or whatever. When you have a trend that's like this on the 5-minute chart, this is something you can get behind because buyers are just persistently interested in this thing. And on top of that, look at the daily chart for this thing. This is a damn nice chart. You have a downward sloping trend line that was broken to the upside here, right? There you go. If you wanted to go long yesterday, you could have gone long. There's your entry point. And today, this thing looks pretty damn nice. I know Dan put a bullish put spread on for this one. I'm going to go ahead and just call this out in the chat room. so people are aware in case they're not, I really like ELF. Nice D1. Nice tight buying all day today. Okay. Put that one in the chat. So let's see if anyone is interested in that. I honestly would love to go long on this one. Am I ready to go long yet? I'm still just kind of waiting and being a little bit passive here. Because let's take a look at the market and I'll look at, okay, let me just open Airbnb up so we can look at this after. Why am I not fully ready yet? Well, keep saying the same things, right? This trading channel to the downside went on for a long time. Yes, we're breaking out of it. Is this the most aggressive buying ever? No. Volume has been okay in some parts, but it still is relatively low. Nothing to get super excited about. We do have a bullish 1OP cycle to work with. So if you really wanted to, you could put on a small starter long, but I wouldn't do much more than that. And for me, it's just, I just don't feel it's high probability enough yet for me. So I'm okay with just waiting a little bit more. In fact, I did take one trade today. I'm sure I will get to you after this. I did take one trade today, and that was in PDD. I went short because I liked the aggressive post earnings selling here, very aggressive selling. And when I went short, well, I went short down here because I was like, hey, I like this. This looks pretty good. I like this tight selling here. And the market has a bearish 1OP cross. This thing wants to go lower. Well, of course, the market bounces off the lower end of this trading channel, right? And again, remember, I'm shorting against a longer term strong market. So my probability of success is just going to be lower because at any point buyers can just come in and start buying because that's what they've been doing for a long time, right? But on top of that, right, this also wasn't really like the best setup, so to speak, right? You can see it opened up, big long green candle that was then reversed, and the volume wasn't amazing. And technically, right, because this wasn't like an aggressive bearish trend day by any means, remember, this is not super aggressive selling at all. When I went short here, what I should have done if I really wanted to go short, and my assumption was that we're going to keep drifting lower, set the Heikin Ashi bearish reversal alert so that because this breakdown below the prior day's low happened, if I can get that alert and I see that it tested the low and then bam, like smack back down, then I would feel much more comfortable with an entry here. So when I went short here, it just wasn't the best entry point. And honestly, like as others have been pointing out, like Pete, like shorting in this market, leave it to the pros. Like it is not easy to do. And well, clearly this did not work out for me. I recognize by here, this is not good. And I just got out. And that was a great idea because look at this thing. It just flew higher. So I got the trade wrong. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't have any sort of effect on what I need to do. So that's okay. My mistake, next time I know, just set that Heikin Ashi reversal alert. That's what I do best. So that's what I'm going to do, especially going against the longer term market trend. You've got to be careful with shorts right now. So that was the one trade I made. And again, not the best trade, but that's okay. Okay, I brought up Atmu ATMU earlier, and I really like this one. This one is at an all-time high. Daily chart is excellent. Problem? Well, again, everything is the market. Market first, market first. As annoying as it is to hear that, it's kind of just the truth. You have to wait for the market, and I just don't have that right now. So I'm totally okay just sitting on my hands waiting. Okay, Vimster, how often do you use 15-minute charts? I found that they help me slow down and take a breath. Would love to hear your thoughts on different time frames. I think that's a really good idea to use 15-minute chart to slow down a bit. I personally don't use it much beyond if I'm looking at a stock and I want to kind of see like, what is the intraday movement like? Then I'll go to the 15-minute chart so I can see that. more clearly, right? You can see ATMU has some decent movement, right? Goes up, get a little pullback, go up, a little pullback, go up, right? This looks nice compared to something like, I don't know, let's look at Domino's Pizza. Okay, well, that looks nice to be fair. Maybe Lyft? No, that looks nice. What's a crappy stock I can look at right now? Here, okay, this is what I'm looking for, right? If I'm looking at Snap and I'm like, hey, this looks good, right? Up for the day. Haven't even looked at the D1 yet. And of course, it's shit. Don't go long Snap. But if I want to know, like, what I want to take an intraday trade on this, the 15-minute chart really helps me just immediately see, like, what does this do? And all these wicks, tails, mixed candles, LRSI looks like a freaking Six Flags roller coaster. I don't want anything to do with that. So I would not take this trade for a billion different reasons. But yes, if the 15-minute chart helps you kind of stay a little bit more in control and like you can see things more clearly, like you say, identify trends easier, then yeah, like use that a part of your tool set to help you identify what the best trades are. For me, I pretty much again only look at the 5 minute and the daily chart, but you know, the other time frames do have their use cases for me. Okay, let's see. Just looking at the one option chat room. Everyone else is probably falling asleep just because this shit is so boring, and I agree. I hope you guys aren't too bored. And again, I'm sorry if you came in here looking for high octane trading or whatever, because yeah, that shit's not happening right now. So, okay. Um, while we wait perpetually, as it seems, let's go ahead and flip through some of the scanners to see what looks good. Now, I like to start with the daily chart because that helps you stay away from crap like Snap. ATMU, we were looking at this one, just got a reversal alert on Shack. Let's see. Is it above the prior day's high? No, it is not. Okay. I will let that trigger the high of the day breakout once it does that. TOL, this is a home builder stock. Um, I like the trend on this one longer term. It's pretty nice. Zoom out. Look at this shit. This is very, very nice. It's not a fast moving stock in that, you know, it's not going to trade like Nvidia or something, but it's got a nice trend. You also have a nice breakout point here. So if you're looking for, you know, nice trade to take, potential swing, this could be a good one. Here's your breakout point. Stock looks good today, looked good yesterday. Okay. But again, nothing to get super excited about, especially when you have a market that is doing this. So just one to keep an eye on. CNM is a nice D1 setup, setting a D1 bullish HA reversal. Just had earnings a few days ago, so want to wait a bit before entering. Let's see. It's an industrial. Industrials have been damn strong, and clearly this one is not an exception to that. Hell yeah, I like this one a lot. Um, great, just great alert. Like good idea to set an alert on this. Honestly, like given that this thing is already getting follow through, that's really nice. What I would do on this, what I'm going to do right now, is just set an LRSI H1 alert just to evaluate what any kind of dip is like, just to see. I mean, it looks really nice today, right? But you know, I have no reason to go long on this thing right now. And you've done the right thing, Malik, by just setting that alert. So you can check on it later if you want to. If it looks good and the market looks good, yeah, okay. You could take a small starter position knowing that, you know, it did just have earnings, so no reason to just jump in right away. It might need time to digest these gains, but still looks damn good. So I like that one. Okay. BBY, do I like this? No, I don't. Why? Choppy. I don't care that it had this breakout here. Also is putting in a little bit of a gap reversal, so don't care for that. ERG, sorry, ERJ. Here's another nice industrial. This is an ADR. This thing has a big ass run today. Okay, pretty nice. I personally wouldn't trade it though, just because pretty decent sized gap up. It does look nice though, as far as like it has like a nice orderly move to it. I just personally wouldn't do it. But this is a really, really nice stock for sure. FLEX, no. Choppy, range bound, no thank you. Google, this one has been really strong recently. Um, but what do I not like about Google? Remember I was talking about that LRSI Six Flags roller coaster thing? Well, when it looks like this and you don't know how to just look at a chart and realize that it's choppy, just look at LRSI. If it looks like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, you probably don't want to go into it just knowing that it tends to be choppy. And that's exactly what Google does. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. Yes, it has a nice high volume breakout through all of the SMAs, which is nice. But I don't know, just don't care for it right now. And putting in some higher low, or excuse me, some lower highs. And I don't have the market. So again, pretty much automatic no to that. And I just don't like the choppiness. So I just stay away from it, knowing that, I can trade a stock like, I don't know, what was the stock I was looking at earlier? APH. Look at this. Where do you think this is going to go next? Probably up, right? If I told you, predict where this is going and predict where Google is going, which one are you going to feel more comfortable predicting the direction? It's probably going to be APH, right? Just look at what it's been doing. It's going to probably keep doing what it's been doing, especially with a huge, tight trend like that. Hell yeah, I really like this one. I have an alert set on this one. And look at that. It's got a nice little grind today. Let's see if we can get above the prior day's high. If it hits that, does that mean I'm going to take the trade? No. I just want to know about it if it does. So, yeah, pick stocks with daily charts like this, not with charts like Snap. Well, okay, this is kind of nice, but this choppy crap here, no thank you. Google, choppy. Yes, Harry and some others took a nice trade on it, but the thing is, right, you just have to be careful knowing that it tends to chop around like this. So at some point, it could break out here. My inclination would feel, well, it might just start to pull back a bit. I don't know, but if there's one thing that has helped improve my like success rate and all, it's just trying to be as picky as possible with the stocks that I'm trading. Because when I have a longer term trend, like Nvidia, that looks really tight and nice like this, I can feel a lot more comfortable knowing that buyers have been supporting this thing for a long time and they're probably going to keep doing that. So even if I don't get an ideal entry point, I have all of this D1 strength to lean on. So that makes me feel totally comfortable to just stay in the trade. Luke, how much does ATR influence your stock picks? It does influence my stock picks a decent amount, in that, like, I always check the stock's ATR before I go long on something, especially if it's had like some kind of gap up and it's stacking candles or something. I definitely pay attention to it. The thing with ATR though is that when a stock is making some kind of big breakout on like heavy volume through technical D1 levels, the ATR is probably going to be exceeded just because there's a lot of buying going in. So don't have it be like the limiting factor, so to speak, of like, oh, I'm not going to go long Nvidia right here because look at the D1 ATR, like it's at its ATR limit or whatever. Well, if that was your limiting factor, then you missed out on all of this, right? So just keep that in mind when you get a big breakout. You're probably going to see a gradual rise in ATR, especially if the breakout is legitimate. So, yes, I do pay attention to it, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, I don't know why my ATR was not showing earlier, but I put it up now, so now we can see it as we go through stocks. And if you look at something like NU, for example, like this looks nice, and it is. It's got some choppiness to it, right? You see the tails and wicks, but look at the ATR, like 0.3. That is very different than something like Lyft, which is another stock that is okay. It's not exactly the same price or whatever, but the ATR is much higher relative to this than it is for NU. And if you go to NU, right, it's choppy as hell. We already knew that from the D1 chart with the wicks and tails, right? Longer term trend looks great and all, but it's choppy as hell. So yeah, just wouldn't be too excited about one like that. KR is another one I set an LRSI H1 alert. Slow movers, so might need patience, but the stock wants to go higher. Perhaps also a good candidate for buying longer term in the money call option and keep adding on the way up. Yeah, KR is actually a really nice one that I also like too. I think Dave W is long this one as well. I think he went long yesterday. I like this one as well. KR is a consumer defensive stock. It is not a tech stock. Kroger is a grocery store. They don't sell AI groceries or something, so it's not going to have explosive moves. Um, and you can just see, like, look at it. It's pretty choppy, boring stock. So I would definitely buy a pullback to the 8 EMA, which also coincides with AVWAP-E. I don't think I have an alert on this one, so I'm going to do what you did and set this H1 alert. Thank you for the idea, Malik. I appreciate it. So yeah, decent one. Just you do not need to chase a grocery store stock, period. Let alone chasing anything ever, really, to any degree. So yeah. Okay, by the way, remember how I said my confidence in the market to go long is not there yet? Well, what do you know? We're pulling back a little bit. And okay, so what? Well, again, my ideal entry point would be let's see a test of this breakout above prior day's low, which is just above VWAP. If we put in a higher low, double bottom here, and we start grinding higher and the volume picks up, okay, I would feel comfortable opening along there. But until that happens, I'm just going to assume that that's not going to happen. So I just wait, watch and see what the price action does. So yeah, and look at this. The volume is pitiful. It's dried up. There's just nothing really going on. So unfortunately, and as I sort of envisioned, today is kind of turning out to be boring as shit. Kind of like yesterday, where again, we've had this big gap up since, and of course, just this move since the FOMC meeting, but we're just kind of sitting here, which is not ideal because when we get those breakouts, we want that immediate follow through as best as we can because that shows that buyers are aggressive, right? But that's not what we're getting here. Right? We're kind of just sitting here. So we need to start moving up ASAP. Ideally, if it's not going to be today, then Monday for sure, because the more it stalls here, well, the less likely it is we're just going to start going up. And if you look at the price action for the last month ish, you can see that what was really tight buying when this huge trend started at the end of October last year, it's gotten a little bit choppier, right? Pete has pointed out in the chat room that there's more red candles. There's just kind of up and down days. We're just sort of stuck in this little like range here. We're just not really seeing any sort of aggressive moves, and the volume isn't really anything to get too excited about. Like we're just not getting any kind of follow through right now. So the time to be really, really aggressive with longer term swings is sometime back here. Now, well, just recognize that this longer term trend is still damn strong and you can trust it. But if we don't make any progress on this breakout, it's possible we might see some kind of pullback. And honestly, I am all for it because I think everyone in the world is waiting for a pullback right now in this market because it pretty much just has not happened whatsoever since this rally started. So I would welcome it with open arms, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it would be nice to get follow through on this breakout. Just unfortunately, that's just not what is happening. So instead, we just get to watch nothing happen. And this is a great time to test your patience and discipline. Why? Because, like I have said, some days you're just not going to make a trade, and that's okay. In fact, some days, some weeks you might not even make a trade. And you're like, damn, like, am I doing something wrong? The answer is probably not. If you're able to just sit back and chill and not give in to temptation, that's a good idea. And honestly, even better than that, say you took a trade earlier and it was a loss, and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done that or whatever. Like, that wasn't a good idea. If you can hold back from, your emotions kicking in, trying to get you to revenge trade and whatnot, and you can just sit on your hands, celebrate that shit. Like, even if you end up taking 2 losses for the day, but you're able to step back and not force anything, that is a win in and of itself because it shows that although you had some losing trades, you didn't let it disrupt what you're doing, meaning you didn't start FOMOing into things or revenge trading or tripling up on size to make back lost gains or whatever, right? It just shows that you are in control and you're not doing anything silly. So be proud of yourself if you're not doing dumb things like that. Okay. Um, let's see. I said we were going to look at some charts, and well, we've done a little bit of that, but I realize we haven't been doing a whole lot of that. So let's go ahead and do that. And actually, before I do that, I'm gonna drink some water. So let me do that. Okay, I am back. Let's go ahead and look at some stuff. Let's see what's strong. So I'm gonna go to the day section in the Option Stalker Pro scanners to see if there's anything that looks good that has some decent buying right now. BBY, no thank you. FL, no thank you. UPS, nope. Yeah, don't care for this. Maybe if it gets above the SMA 200, but again, this is not a strong longer term trend, so I don't really care for it. Relative strength 30. APP, this has been a really nice one. Longer term, it's got a nice trend going. This stock tends to be kind of choppy. Um, so if you're going to trade a stock like this, just keep that in mind. You can see I have this 5-minute trend line drawn here. So if it breaks this, I'm going to be alerted on it, which it could happen any second now. What do you know? Here it is. Would I go long this right now? Uh, no. Although I do really like it. So if the market can start waking up more, then yeah, I might trade this. You can see the volume is trying to pick up a bit. Sat here for a bit, broke out above VWAP, the prior day's low. Let's just see what happens. Don't need to rush into anything. And by the way, if you're looking at the chart of the SPY and you see this bullish hammer here, and you're like, oh, hey, support is confirmed. We're going higher. That is not the case. As in, do not trade off of that assumption, right? First of all, this is just one candle, right? Yes, it was a bullish hammer. Yes, the volume was decent on it. You see sellers try to push it down and buyers came back up and scooped it up. That's really nice. But wait to see if this gets follow through. And if you're unsure how to like determine what that is, well, first of all, set an alert at the prior high. And if you look at the Heikin Ashi candles, you can see we had red Heikin Ashi candles, right? This was a bearish Heikin Ashi reversal. Now we're trying to wait for a flat bottom green candle. So when you get that flat bottom green candle, you can feel more comfortable because then you're getting some follow through buying, especially if we take out this high here and the volume stays high, then yeah, that looks a lot better. And I like how this candle is forming here. So let's see what it does. Hopefully, it gives us something to get excited about, meaning, I don't know, could this be the start of something good unfolding? Well, my assumption is going to be probably not, but I would be more than happy to be proved wrong. Okay, um, let's see. I know I keep jumping back and forth between saying I am going to look at charts, and then I don't because I start talking about something else, so I apologize. Dan pointed out ABBV in the one option chat room, saying it could be good for next week. I agree. Let me go ahead and remove these. This was just something I was using to track it earlier when I was trading it last week or so. Yeah, this could be a nice one. It is at AVWAP-E. Okay. Very nice longer term trend. Okay, I like that. Well, I guess not relentless buying over the year or whatever, but certainly since December, it's been in a really nice trend. It's kind of choppy, right? You can see that mixed candles. Okay, could be hitting some resistance here, who knows? But you've got a really nice dip now in the stock. If you go to the 4-hour chart, let's say you set an LRSI alert on the 4-hour time frame. Look at that, almost going up. And guess what? Look at what it's done every other time it crossed below. Cross below here, goes up, nice run. Cross here, goes up, nice run. Cross here, goes up. Okay, you have earnings, but you get the idea, right? It crosses, it goes up, very nice. Now, that does not guarantee that it's going to go up, right? Because it could just cross here and then all of a sudden JP Morgan fails or something, then obviously every fucking stock is going to oblivion. But just to keep that in mind when you're using these alerts for like indicators to get entry points, like make sure you have the market on your side for the time frame that you're trading. Um, in other words, don't jump the gun. But I do like ABBV. I really like this nice tight grind here. So I'm just going to set an alert on it intraday just to see what it does. Leo, what percent of your swings do you take from alerts you set? I feel like I find better trades from scanners than alerts I get. I wonder about this because of how Harry emphasizes the use of alerts. It feels like when my alerts trigger, it rarely aligns with the proper time to enter a trade based on the market. That is true, and that is a good point. I would say that the percentage of my swings that I take from alerts really depends because a lot of times I will enter a swing on a shorter time frame alert, like a 5-minute Heikin Ashi reversal alert, because I have like a breakout or something. It's popped up in one of my scanners, and I'm like, I like it for not only a swing but an intraday trade as well. So I will just take it based on that. So when these longer term like LRSI alerts trigger, it's kind of rare actually that I just jump into the trade, just because, like you said, like the alert going off doesn't always time with the market very well. And, that just happens. And so that's just something to be aware of, like you pointed out. Um, but another reason why I like setting these longer term time frames too is that I also use my alert console as kind of a mini watch list, so to speak. So, especially for these longer term ones, like, yeah, I could use a watch list or whatever. I just don't. And this just kind of helps me keep it all tracked in one place. Um, CRH was pointed out by somebody earlier. It was stacking skyscraper candles, we will call it. You do not need to chase shit like this. Just don't. Like, I don't know if this makes you feel FOMO. This to me says, okay, I'm not going to touch that until I know what the hell is happening. Is there some kind of news or whatever? I mean, CRH is a really nice longer term trend, which, I can totally get behind. But on a day like today, especially, you do not need to chase shit like this because look, it pulled back. And if you look at the 5-minute chart, zoomed out, and we can use the 15-minute chart to do this better, it does have some nice runs, but it's been relatively choppy in some points. To be fair, yes, yesterday the market was just drifting lower, so that probably contributed to the choppiness. But in other words, just buy dips. Most of the time, unless you have an aggressive bullish trend day, you're going to be able to get a dip on something. On the ones you don't get the dip on, so be it. Like, accept that. You're not going to catch everything. And alerts will save your ass so that you don't jump the gun on something and get in too early. Like, for me, for example, when I went short PDD earlier down here, I should have set that bearish Heikin Ashi reversal alert, because had I done that instead of entering here, I would have been alerted way up here and I would have been like, wow, good thing I do what I do best, which is setting alerts, right? Because that alert would have said, "Do not enter this shit," and oh well. It is what it is. So, just trying to give you inspiration to use and abuse alerts. What's my criteria for a good dip to enter? That's a really good question. I've kind of wanted to make a video on this about like how to buy the dip because the alerts help you get that dip, right? Because they'll go off and it will be like, hey, like you were waiting for this and now you have it. But it doesn't mean you just automatically go long, right? So the kind of dips that I like are, and it really just depends on the time frame you are trading. If I am strictly doing an intraday trade, meaning I have zero intention whatsoever to swing, then my entry needs to be absolutely on point. So ideally for me, if I have a dip in the stock and the dip, let's say this ATMU were to pull back here and I get the HA Rev alert, and then what's it called? This pulls back, finds support above VWAP, and the market tested support again. The bearish cycle ran, and the bullish 1OP cycle is starting. And I have technical confirmation that the market's going to go higher with a breakthrough of like an M5 downward sloping trend line. Okay, that would make me feel better because I would know that I've got a really good time right now to enter this. Most of the time, that's not going to happen though. So oftentimes, I just kind of end up resetting alerts over and over again. Um, but it does help me kind of be mindful of like what the stock is doing so that when I do get the alert, I'm aware of like, okay, like I wouldn't buy it here, but if the market does start to go up at this point, then I might go back to it and then just jump into it, not wait for the next alert to pop up if everything still looks good in the stock. So, in other words, criteria for what is a good dip. If it's an intraday trade, you need perfect timing. So that means market first, no matter what. Um, Second of all, you want a stock with decent movement that is not super choppy. So ATMU, this has some nice moves to it, right? You can see it does pull back. So, okay. But you don't want to enter something that's like really, really choppy and like, I don't know, is just like doing tons of retracements, long green candles, reversed by long red candles. Like just make sure that price action is like predictable and as tight as possible because those are going to be the stocks that you can trust the most to join that trend. So say you do have something in the alert triggers, like I'm getting all these ones right now, you check the chart, you make sure it hasn't pulled back significantly, meaning it's not below VWAP, and you want to make sure the selling to that point wasn't stacked long red candles because that's a danger sign. You want to make sure you don't have like consistent higher lows on the 5-minute chart, right? So for example, on Google, not Goggle, Google, sorry. Like this one here, you can kind of see a little bit of this double top, right? Okay, no worries. You can just see here that there have been some lower highs. So even if a Heikin Ashi reversal alert popped up here, I would, for example, make sure that it breaks out above this thing here. So if this had like more kind of consistent lower highs, then I would just draw the downward sloping trend line like that, something like that. And when this breaks through and I get the alert and the market looks good, then okay, I can feel better about going in. So TLDR, make sure the dip is not aggressive, meaning no super aggressive selling. Make sure that um, the stock isn't super choppy. Ideally, you have decent volume, and the selling volume was less than it is on the way up, which shows you that buyers are more aggressive. Those are the kinds of things I look for. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. I really like ANET. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where the stock breaks out above the prior day's high, and then I want it to test the breakout, right? You can see here, this thing barely pulled back, mixed overlapping candles, light volume, and then boom, big buying on big volume. Look at here, when it broke out above the prior day's high, the volume picked up. get a tiny bit of profit taking and just a pause, this thing has no volume. Sellers are not aggressive at all. And you can see that in the mixed candles, the wicks and tails, blah, blah, blah. And then it just, all it takes is one candle. And yeah, buyers want to buy this shit. And if the market were just a little better, I would go long this thing right now. I just, I just wouldn't, or I'm just not going to at this very moment. But this is an example where the alert goes off and I would pretty much just go into it right away because it does look good. Just that the market kind of looks like shit or just not anything to get excited about. APH, APH, I also really like, but again, market first. ATMU, okay, so I'm just kind of waiting for the market, right? What am I going to do? If I really wanted to get in sooner, I could just set that downward sloping trend line alert. But it's probably going to trigger just because, this thing is staying tight to the high of the day. You could also just set another alert up here so that when it gets to a new high of the day, then, you can buy it up there. Or if you really want to get like a super specific entry, like down here or something, if you think this is going to be solid support and a good entry, then just set it down here. And now look at it. I've got this thing bracketed, so to speak, so that if it goes down, I will know about it. If it goes up, I'm going to know about it. If it doesn't do anything, meaning I don't get an alert, then I can just assume correctly that it's just still inside of this thing. So I like to do that sometimes to help get specific entry points or to just like watch what it does around a certain level if I'm like paying attention to that. LRSI alert for Spotify. Spotify's been a really nice one today. And sure, it's a little choppy. You can see it tried to break out above the prior day's high, and it failed. Okay. Doesn't help that the market is not giving any tailwind, but I do like this. I really like this chart actually. You can see here, came down, tested a VWAP, bam. Nice long green key bar the following day. This was probably the Fed day, which I think it was. Yesterday it came down, tapped the ADMA on the D1. Today you've got a nice bullish engulfing candle. You have a powerful longer term trend. Like look at this. This is really nice. No rocket ship blast off to, I don't know, the Andromeda galaxy kind of movement. Like just like nice, consistent, tight buying. I would love to open a position in this. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm just going to set a more sensitive alert on it, an HA Rev M5 alert, just so I have a tab on it. DKNG, I already looked at this one earlier. Nice breakout here, but again, just I don't care for this market right now. Now, this is one where if it comes back and tests this breakout point again, and then I get a nice lift off from there, I would buy that. And that's probably what I'd be more inclined to do on DKNG. Like, yeah, it does have this longer term um, strength, which is really nice, but you can see it can be a little bit choppy. So for me, this breakout here, I would want to see it tested, right? And it's possible that it does, especially if the market is just going to stay fucking comatose like it has been. But what I do for these breakouts when I want them to be tested, you can set a GTC alert line like this, connect the high from there to here. And if I go to the 1 hour chart, here's LRSI, right? Here's the, wait, is that the breakout level? Is that something different? In any event, I want to buy a test of this breakout here. So yeah, that is that blue line. So what am I going to do? Set the LRSI alert, H1, so that when it crosses, I'm probably going to have a good idea this breakout is going to hold. And that will give me a much better sort of look into, is this going to work out or not? So I wouldn't enter this long right now, again, because market's doing nothing and stock can be a little choppy, right? Goes up, it pulls back, it goes up, pulls back a little bit. So let's just see if this breakout holds. But this could be potentially an excellent play if it does hold. Malik, thoughts on Wadham on Walmart long, 517, 60 put in short next week? Let's see. I am not a Watt-emmer, meaning I do not use Wadhams, WATMs, whatever. Again, I'm not very well versed on that, so I can't really give you much feedback on that. If you are in the one option chat room, you should post that as a question because someone, probably Dave or Dan or Kira or Harry or Pete or anyone else who's more educated on that than I am, can give you a much better answer to that. Walmart long term, though, has decent strength on it. Also is kind of a choppy stock, but as far as from a technical standpoint, Walmart looks okay. Just don't really care for trading it because it just doesn't really make any decent moves and it's just choppy as hell. So that's my view on Walmart. Okay, let's see. Okay. I am just looking in the one option chat room really quickly. Someone went long ANET with today's 307.50 calls. We already know ANET looks light. ANET looks nice, but the market doesn't. So that kind of sucks, right? Still an excellent, excellent stock though. Okay. Back to this, which is a whole lot of nothing, but back to this watching paint dry on the wall price action. Uh, yeah. Again, this selling took a long time to resolve. It's been stubborn. We have broken out of this selling channel on the 5-minute chart on SPY, but it's not like super aggressive buying. And you can see here, like we did break out, we tested the low, broke out again, or bounced off of it, but now we're testing it again on the downside. So the volume is really low. There's just like nothing to get excited about here. So don't have much to say other than, we only have an hour and 15 minutes left for the day. This is likely going to be what happens for the rest of the day. Unless the final hour, something interesting happens. I am not expecting that though, so I am not getting my hopes up for that. But of course, I will be ready if it does happen because although I've been talking a lot and perhaps not flipping through as many charts as I have said I was going to, I did set a lot of alerts earlier and we have taken a look at a couple of charts. I know all these are triggered alerts, but I'm in no rush to reset them just because, I'm not expecting anything to happen. But I will go through them once again just to check out what they're doing. But yeah, very likely the rest of today is going to be a whole lot of nothing. Nvidia still looks really nice. If you wanted to buy a dip on this, perhaps you could. If it stays above VWAP and the market has some end of day buying, but don't get your hopes up again. Here's the ATMU alert we set. Oh, hey, and look at that. It's going back down. I wonder why. Well, it's because the market's pulling back a bit too. So if you wanted to get a dip on ATMU, which is an excellent long, by the way, meaning you got this nice breakout, well, you might get that dip you're looking for. So if you don't have these fancier HA reversal or LRSI alerts, just drop these alerts down at the bottom of these tails on the candles like this. See if they trigger. Just keep it bracketed, so to speak, so that if it goes to the upside, you'll know about it. If it pulls back, you'll know about it. You are prepared for either scenario. By the way, I have a cat, and she's an indoor cat primarily. I do let her wander around in the backyard sometimes, so I'm gonna go make sure she's not doing heinous things outside. So I know you guys are so excited listening to me talk about this stuff right now, but I'm gonna step away for 2 minutes, so probably less than that. I'll be right back.